Welcome back. Well, today we're going to read a book about a real person, a woman born around 200 years ago on Nantucket Island. Nantucket Island is located about 25-30 miles off the coast of Massachusetts and only 14 miles long. And for a relatively brief period during the late 18th and early 19th century, this lonely crescent of sand at the edge of the Atlantic was the whaling capital of the world and one of the wealthiest communities in America. And this woman had a really interesting life. Are you ready? What Miss Mitchell Saw, written by Haley Barrett, with illustrations by Diana Sudica. Haley and her husband now live outside of Boston and have 2 grown children. Other than writing, her favorite activity is caring for and riding horses. She said she spent her childhood reading horse books and galloping around, first on her own 2 feet and later on 4 hooves. When she was 9, her parents surprised her with a dream come true, a pony that she named Trish. Diana Sudica is a Chicago-based illustrator. As a child, she was the one always looking under logs for snails and bugs, and not much has changed since. She still has a passion for nature and science. When not working, she gets outdoors as much as possible with her family, and sometimes volunteers for the Chicago Field Museum of Natural History Bird Lab. Let's read. On the first day of August in 1818, in a town tucked away on the fog-wrapped island of Nantucket, a baby girl was born. Like all babies, this baby was given a name. Her parents whispered it to her like a gentle breeze. Mariah. At first, little Mariah knew only her mother and father, her older brother and sister, and the simple rooms at home. But as she grew, Mariah came to know her island. She rambled its gull-dappled dunes. She breathed the fragrance of its wild roses. She listened to the creak of whaling ships come to harbor laden with heavy barrels and homesick boys. She knew the ships by name: the Anne, the Independence, the Washington. Mariah lived near town and often walked the long hill of Main Street, down to the crowded wharves and back up towards the grand brick edifice of the Pacific Bank. Along the way, she passed the bustle of many shops. She knew the shopkeepers by name: Polly Burnell, Betsy Carey, Eliza Riddell. At home, Mariah was trusted with tasks large and small. Schoolwork did not always come easily, but she studied with determination. Mother took note of Mariah's steady ways. When her husband sought someone to assist him as he observed the night sky, Mother said to Mariah, "Thee is one to help, Father." Mariah's family are Quakers, a religious denomination, and they use the words thee instead of you. So Mariah and her father climbed up the steep attic stairs to the walkway on the rooftop, high above Nantucket town. Together, they gazed at the night sky that cupped their island like a vast black bowl. Father taught Mariah to use a telescope. He taught her to sweep the sky carefully, bit by bit, as thoroughly as she would sweep a room for Mother. He liked to say, "Thee must wonder. Thee must watch closely. Then will thee see and know for thyself." Maria watched, and she wondered. She saw for herself and was captivated. From then on, night after night, Maria swept the sky. She made fast friends with stars that shone as if punched into the black with a whalebone needle. She knew the stars by name: Polaris, Rigel, Spica. She observed planets that glowed as steadily as whale oil lamps. She knew the planets by name: Mercury, Venus, Saturn. She marveled at the celestial phenomena that arched overhead like a whale's sparkling splash. She knew the phenomena by name, too: eclipse, aurora borealis, meteor. Ship captains, home for a while from their whaling, relied on the Mitchells to help them navigate. They brought chronometers, costly timepieces made to withstand ocean voyages, to the little house on Vestal Street. By her father's side, Maria learned to rate the chronometers. Using a sextant and careful calculation, she determined their accuracy so that sailors at sea might establish their position, and when their arduous work was at an end, set a course toward family and Nantucket Town. Maria knew the whalers by name: the Folgers, the Starbucks, her own brother, Andrew. For a while, Maria was a teacher. But she intended to advance her own education, too. So she became a librarian. Her quiet hours at Nantucket's public library, the Athenaeum, were devoted to the study of advanced mathematics and celestial navigation. And year after year, when the day was done and darkness settled over Nantucket, Maria climbed the steep stairs to her rooftop to sweep the sky. One clear October evening, Maria saw something new: a nameless patch of light, bright and blurry, not far from familiar Polaris. A comet! She hurried to tell her father. "My Maria," he exclaimed, "thee must tell the world." The letter bound for Boston took 2 long days to leave stormy Nantucket. Half the world away, other stargazers scoured the skies. The King of Denmark had pledged a gold medal to any astronomer who discovered a new comet with a telescope. Finding one of these hurtling chunks of ice and gas was a rare feat, and many hoped to win gold and glory. In a grand observatory in Rome, an astronomer priest spotted the same bright bit of light. He immediately sent word to claim the medal. But Maria had seen the comet first. The letter from Nantucket, dated 2 days before the priest's sighting, slowly made its way across the ocean. It passed hand to hand from the astronomers of Harvard College to the astronomers of England to the astronomers of Denmark. Maria knew the Harvard astronomers by name. They were family friends, William and George Bond. She had not met the others, but she knew them by name as well. Sir George Airy, Astronomer Royal of Britain, and Professor Heinrich Schumacher of the Altona Observatory. While these men of science considered the dilemma of who ought to rightfully claim the medal, Maria swept the sky. While they scrutinized the letter from Nantucket, Maria swept the sky. While they consulted the astronomer priest of Rome, Maria swept the sky. At long last, they concurred and affirmed Miss Mitchell's discovery. And so the heavy gold medal made its way across the ocean to Boston, to Nantucket, and to Maria's steady hand. The King of Denmark sent it with his compliments. The medal was inscribed with the name her parents gave her, the name known to shopkeepers, to sea captains, to sailors, and to schoolchildren. Maria Mitchell. And it bore the motto, "Not in vain do we watch the setting and the rising of the stars." Miss Mitchell saw the comet. The world saw her. The comet Maria Mitchell found at 10:30 p.m. on October 1st, 1847, is still known as Miss Mitchell's Comet, also known as C/1847T1. It is a non-periodic comet, which means from the shape of its orbit, it may never cross through the inner solar system again, or it may take hundreds to thousands of years. Maria was the first American astronomer to win the Danish medal, but not the first woman. There was a German astronomer who holds that distinction. Maria cared little, though, for the fame that came from her discovery. She paid attention to her work and kept the gold medal in her room. And she went on to a distinguished career. She was the first woman astronomer employed by the United States government, and she was the first professor hired at a newly founded college for women called Vassar. She spent nearly the rest of her life teaching astronomy there. She was active in women's rights, especially the right to vote, and a lifelong champion of education for women and the anti-slavery movement. Maria died in 1889 at the age of 70 and was buried near where she was born, under the vast black bowl of stars on her quiet island of Nantucket. Sometimes we don't know where the gifts that God has given us will take us. But like Maria, we can work steadily, knowing it's not the awards or the prizes or the fame that we win, but the work itself and the people we help and love along the way that is important. See you next week.